Can't take lunch because of training? I don't think so. In my mid-20s, female, I worked for a multinational accounting firm. I have always had a really firm policy for standing up when something doesn't sound right, irrelevant of whether it puts me in an awkward position. This story is how I maliciously complied and in turn made my director learn a lesson I hope she won't forget. We'll call her Karen. Not her real name. Background on Karen: when she joined the team we all liked her, she made great changes and we got on well with her. But the moment she was promoted to director and had direct reporting to the partner, she flipped. She became a completely different person and made our life hell. Previously she spent her career heading up call centers, which was evident in her management style, and for some reason made it her mission to cut costs in the team and go under budget. This affected everything from telling us we didn't have a fixed budget for pens and had to take from other team stores to only allowing a one-drink, one-course policy on team dinner events. This was a huge company and other teams around us would go for fancy all-expenses-paid social events, so we felt pretty put out. Her cost-cutting also extended to things like no overtime approvals unless the way in advance. That didn't last long as we were understaffed, so quickly emergencies weren't dealt with, and hiring school leavers instead of graduates as they were cheaper, despite the work needing more experience. Her favorite saying to everything was it's policy, or blaming HR or higher-ups saying whatever new thing, even if a new irrelevant spreadsheet, would come from HR. Honestly, the amount of time HR spent on our little team in a company with 20k plus UK employees was astounding. Then came the day she booked an all-day training session from some external company to show us how to use a new system. She went on about it for weeks. Was super excited that she had brought in this new system. The training was intense, so freaking technical, mind-numbing, and most of all expensive. So what would normally be covered over a few days was crammed into one full day. They were paid hourly. Shock. She sent an email advising how we're expected to attend. It will go through the whole day and lunch would be provided, but it will be a working lunch, so training would also be through lunch. Needless to say, the thought of sitting in a stuffy room for 8 hours without a lunch break wasn't appealing. I asked for an exception as I relied on going outside for the hour at lunch for a break. I was amid high anxiety at the time and my breaks got me through. She said it's policy that we would be expected to change our work day around to fit training, and there is no policy that requires her to allow me to go out. If I had an issue, I should check the HR manual. I think until now, this statement usually worked for her as no one ever checked. I went one better. I went to HR. Cue malicious compliance. Using the effective wording of "for my mental health and well-being," HR replied, and of course, disagreed, as UK law mandates training as work and an 8-hour day requires at least 1 hour break, which I am allowed to choose what I do with. They CC'd Karen. Karen backed down but verbally told me it was an exception for me and to not share with the rest of the team. Of course, I didn't comply. She was breaking the law. So I showed the email chain to everyone as they were complaining about the same thing. So I and the rest of the team came up with a little plan. Sandwiches were delivered, budget sandwiches of course, from the supermarket down the road. Instead of our slightly more expensive internal catering team who caters to this exact type of thing for our 10-floor building. I stood up and announced I was going on lunch and would be back in an hour. Cue the rest of the team, all 12, to stand up after me. Karen goes,
"Where are you all going?"
To which someone replied,
"I understand that HR said we were allowed to leave the room for the hour for lunch."
The look on her face. She knew she was stuck. She couldn't say anything. We left her in there alone with the 2 trainers who seemed to guess something was up. I've never felt more satisfied in my life. We all had a good laugh about it outside. I think I even did a happy dance. She also knew she couldn't complain to me about it, as that would highlight her breaking the rules. I felt like I was walking on air all day. After this, there was much less blaming of HR, and generally, she was a little skittish around me because she knew I didn't take her crap and would call her out. A second training session had to be booked since the training would never have worked in one day. There were lots of moans and groans about how expensive the extra training session costs, of course. I left a couple of months afterward, and so did pretty much the rest of my team, replaced by school leavers of course. But I'm very glad I complied. I believe Karen still works there but for a much smaller team. Second story. So, do you want us to adhere to the company hierarchy? Sure. So, I work as a mechanic in a sewage treatment plant. It's a very laid-back job. In fact, 3 out of 8 hours were spent not working. I know that it sounds as if we were a bunch of freeloaders, but it's just because the tasks we perform are simple and we do our best to do them ASAP. Anyway, the hierarchy in our plant is quite complicated, but the most important thing is that as a part of a mechanical department, our only supervisor on site is our master. At least I think that's the English translation, lol. Both the plant manager nor plant master are not our supervisors, yet they, as well as other workers, asked us to carry out some jobs for them, which we gladly agreed to do, even despite most of them being out of our range of duty. You know, welding racks back together, installing a new faucet, etc. Most of the time we weren't doing anything else anyway, but sometimes we were preoccupied with our own tasks. Still, the plant master always told us that his tasks were more important and to just leave what we were doing for some another day. Due to this, many of our old tasks were left for another day, which because of constant requests were left sitting for months. Still, it was always his job that had priority. Now is the right time to address the tense situation we had with the plant master. He is best buddies with the manager, usually blaming all the shortcomings of his team on us, stuff like something not being cleaned, sick, stuff that's not a mechanical failure, stuff that's simply not important enough, or stuff that's beyond our competencies and should be taken care of by a specialist company. He also had this very annoying habit of rummaging through our tools, taking parts, and using our machinery without asking. It's very annoying, but whatever, it's important to keep a good relationship at work. But then he dropped the bomb. He had the list of all our old tasks that were left unfinished. The list wasn't that long, by the way, by about 8 things, 3 of which were outside of our competencies, and said that the manager and CEO will be waiting in the conference room to give us a lecture and to take away our bonuses. The meeting went very roughly. It started with the CEO saying you can say goodbye to your bonus this month, then proceeded to give us a lecture about the importance of our tasks. Then he kept blabbering about us threatening our master, plant master being the only supposed witness, etc. etc. When the CEO was talking about possible solutions, the plant master did the worst calculation of his life. He proposed adhering to the company structure and proper workflow. Well, we didn't want to oppose it since we knew what that means. We talked this over with our master, and now every time the plant manager/master wants us something to be done, we reply with, "We don't take jobs in the corridors, we have our jobs to do. Sorry, we cannot afford to leave what we're doing, we have it planned for today." Or does our master know about this? We cannot do anything without him ordering it to be done. By now no one has been to our workshop for 4 weeks. No extra jobs. No side jobs. Nothing. Only 2 tasks a day, which usually take 30 minutes each with a team of 5. And it's all by the book. We respect the company structure and have a proper workflow, focusing on our tasks. P.S. Most of the backlogs were also due to stuff breaking down, which is mostly due to faulty infrastructure. Most of the pipes are clogged with sedimentation from picks/packs and require thorough cleaning/rebuilding. But I guess it's cheaper to simply replace a pump that had to push the same amount of sewage through pipes that have narrowed by 2 times at this point. Those poor pumps. And yeah, the pipework and technology are the responsibility of the plant master and plant manager.